The Justice League, without a doubt, is one of the most famous superhero teams of all time. It was even more popular than the Avengers, and that's not even an exaggeration. Before the Avengers movies, there were probably three teams that were really the most popular teams that everybody knew about: the Justice League, the X-Men, and maybe even the Fantastic Four. But some people debate that Teen Titans was just as popular because of the cartoon. But honestly, I think that's just down to personal opinion. My personal opinion is that Fantastic Four is more popular than Teen Titans. But that's not the point. The point is, somehow, this team that has a rich history in the comics and even a very successful TV show in the early 2000s somehow got a bad movie. And it was hated by a lot of people. And even I disliked it, to put it mildly. So that's what we'll be doing today in this video. We're going to try and figure out why 2018's Justice League movie was a massive disappointment, not just to me, but to fans and even to a lot of critics. This video obviously contains spoilers for Justice League and some spoilers for Batman v Superman. Welcome to part 5 of my DCEU reviews. One thing I should point out in this video before we start is that this movie wasn't actually completed by Zack Snyder. He had to step away. So, who completed it? Joss Whedon. And if that name sounds familiar to you, I wouldn't be surprised. He's the writer and director of the first Avengers movie, which we all know is a pretty big hit. So, does this mean I'll do the Snyder cut of the movie eventually? I don't know. I think just one cut of the movie is enough. I think that theatrical cut is just enough of a Justice League review, because some of the issues in this movie also exists in the Snyder cut. So I don't see the point of having two Justice League review videos. Anyway, after everybody mourned the death of Superman, Batman tries to form the Justice League alongside Wonder Woman, and he only manages to get one member in, which is the Flash. We get introduced to the main villain called Steppenwolf, who is searching for these cubes known as mother boxes. Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, and Cyborg fight Steppenwolf underground before being saved by Aquaman. They return to the Batcave where they make a plan to bring back Superman, which they manage to do. Superman turns evil for a bit, then calms down when he sees Lois Lane, so he picks her up and flies her back to the Kent farm. The Justice League take the fight to Steppenwolf, then Superman joins them, the Justice League wins, and the world is saved. And that's it. I received this comment in my Batman v Superman video, and it honestly made me think that, yeah, not only is the Batman costume pretty good, but also a lot of the costumes in this movie is good as well. Cyborg's design is pretty good. The Flash's costume is actually kind of decent, at least in my opinion. I'm pretty sure some people prefer it a lot more. I personally don't like the armored style of costumes when it comes to the Flash. I feel like it's too heavy for him to run with. But obviously, Batman's design is still the best. I can't play these in case they're copyrighted, but the hint of the Tim Burton Batman theme that plays when Batman's on top of the GCPD rooftop is just gorgeous. And the music that plays when the Flash uses his powers during the tunnel fight is very suitable. It definitely feels like a theme that is very, very much the Flash, because I have no other way to describe it. The casting choice overall is pretty decent besides Wonder Woman and Flash, but I'm not going to dive into that. But what didn't work for this movie? What didn't people like? There's so much wrong with this movie, actually. We'll start with the nitpick. Henry Cavill's CGI face. It's uncomfortable to look at. If you don't know why it happened, I probably should have mentioned this in the context, but Henry Cavill was also shooting Mission Impossible at the same time he was shooting Justice League. And in Mission Impossible, he had to keep a beard, so he couldn't shave it. So the next best thing is to CGI his face on top of his face. Now, does it look good? I mean, it does the job. It's not as bad as people say it is. It does. look a bit uncomfortable at times, but other than that, it's pretty decent. So I'll just peel apart why I don't like this movie character by character. First of all, let's start with the Flash because he is the most talked about character in this movie, or at least when the movie came out. I don't like the Flash in this movie at all, not only because of the casting, but just the Flash, how he's written as a whole. The Flash in this movie is supposed to be Barry Allen, and he's written. The Flash in this movie is supposed to be Barry Allen, but he's written more like Wally West. Barry Allen is more serious and more scientific in nature, and he's often like a selfless mentor to others, while Wally West is the basically who Barry Allen was in the movie. Lighthearted, impulsive, he finds joy in being a hero, and he's not as serious as Barry Allen. It's just that mischaracterization of Barry Allen that just doesn't work out for me. Also, the biggest character assassination of all, whether it's Wally West or Barry Allen, is the whole "I push people and run away" thing. It's like, what? That's completely out of character for the Flash. On to Batman. He's fine, I guess. He has no particular significance in this movie. His only role is to bring the Justice League together, kind of like Nick Fury in the Avengers, but that just doesn't really work here. I mean, it works for Nick Fury because he's a side character, so it makes sense for him to assemble the main cast so they can fight the main bad guy. But it doesn't work for Batman because he's supposed to be one of the main cast, and he just does nothing throughout the movie. He doesn't even help that much in the final battle against Steppenwolf. So I'm not exactly sure what Batman's role was supposed to be in this movie. On to Wonder Woman. Oh boy. I didn't really like her scenes. Besides the casting and the acting capabilities, I just didn't feel like this was Wonder Woman at all. She just does nothing significant except just deal the final blow on Steppenwolf. She doesn't even manage to convince Cyborg to join the League. Like, yeah, she talked to him like once and for a little bit, but then he just changed his mind. And it's not because of Wonder Woman, or at least it's not framed that way. Cyborg only joined them because he discovered that his father got taken by Steppenwolf. Also, Diana monologues in a very boring way about the last time Steppenwolf tried to invade the planet. But yeah, I feel like other than that, Diana doesn't really have a role really in this entire movie. Nobody does anything actually, just to save you all time. This is going to be the same complaint for Aquaman and Cyborg and Superman. They just do nothing throughout the movie. Aquaman was fine. I mean, it was pretty obvious that they were overcommitting to make people like Aquaman again because he's been treated as a joke character for a majority of the time, and I'm actually not sure how that happened. I think it's because of a lot of TV shows that parodied him, and the general public decided, oh yeah, he's just a joke character now. But besides the tunnel sequence where he saved them, he doesn't really contribute to anything. Cyborg is actually in the movie, if you don't remember. Yeah, he had almost little to no screen time at all. If that even is a sentence. I think it's grammatical correctly. What? He does absolutely nothing. He's very forgettable. His whole thing is that he hates himself and his dad. Then at the end of the movie, he just doesn't anymore. He accepts who he is and he loves his dad again. There's no like transition for this. His entire character arc happens without proper screen time or care. I generally like don't remember a significant scene where his character arc started happening because yeah, on one like it started the movie as him hating himself and his dad, as I said, but then he saves his dad and that's it. His character arc is complete. And then it shows at the end of the movie that he's working with his dad on some upgrades and stuff. But that's not really a progress because we've already shown that he forgave his dad and like loved his dad again. His whole thing is just not written that well. Superman, our final hero in this movie. He gets revived with a mother box for some reason, even though at the end of Batman v Superman they showed that he was still alive because he pushed his coffin off of him. You know, like he saw like dirt floating at the end of Batman v Superman, which indicated that he still survived. But I don't know if this is a negative or not because I think this is a retcon. I'm not too sure. Anyway, I still think that killing him off in Batman v Superman was a mistake. So either way, it's still a negative. Anyway, Superman's first instinct after coming back is to fight the Justice League. Yes, Cyborg did accidentally attack him, but surely Superman would have been smarter than this when he saw Cyborg clearly struggling not to attack him because of the suit overtaking his willpower, I guess. It's very unclear. He just took control of his body. Superman quite literally does nothing except help Wonder Woman defeat Steppenwolf at the very end. Slight nitpick. They say that Superman was a beacon to the world. What? That does not make any sense. Why would that be a statement? I don't care if people mourned Superman was responsible for what happened to Metropolis and Man of Steel. If you watched my Man of Steel review, you'll know what I'm talking about. Now on to the actual main villain of the movie, Steppenwolf. So he is bland, to put it basically. He has no motivation as to why he desperately wants the mother boxes and why he wants to invade Earth. He has no reason to. He does say for Darkseid once in this entire movie, but it honestly just holds no weight whatsoever because why is it only mentioned once and why is it mentioned so late into the movie? It doesn't feel like Darkseid is that much of a threat. It feels like lip service more than anything because even if it's just Steppenwolf acting on his own, we don't know why Steppenwolf wants to conquer Earth specifically, or why even Darkseid wants to conquer Earth specifically, to the point where he'd try twice, or to the point that Steppenwolf would try twice. We don't know. Some general things that I don't like about this movie. The nice moment between Lois and Martha turned awkward for no reason because of a bad joke. It's just unnecessary. The whole male character falls on female character's chest thing is just unneeded. The movie could have just not had that scene, and the movie would have been the same. The amount of time they used on that random Russian family could have been used for someone like Cyborg to develop his character further and actually give him something to do in the movie. Clark and Lois still have no chemistry, and this is the third movie that they've been together. The final act, or like the third act, is just a chore to go through, honestly. And finally, in the flashback, they include a Green Lantern, but the movie never mentions the Green Lantern Corps again, and they don't even mention anything about Hal Jordan or any other Green Lantern, honestly. They don't include a Green Lantern at all in the movie. Both movies, actually. I should add, they don't include it in this movie, the theatrical cut, and they don't include it in the director's cut. So, what's the point of adding a Green Lantern if you're not gonna at least hint that a Green Lantern actually exists on Earth? Like, say, Hal Jordan, who you put in the intro of both movies? Like, not even a cameo from Hal Jordan. It's kind of crazy. So, to summarize this video, why is the Justice League? So to summarize this video, the question was, why is the Justice League movie a huge disappointment? The answers: some of the actors didn't fit their roles, the characters do nothing significant consistently throughout the movie, the retcon of the Batman v Superman ending, the mischaracterization of characters like the Flash, or more specifically Barry Allen, and the main antagonist is just uninteresting. But what do you think? Do you agree with what I said? Do you think Justice League is just a huge disappointment overall? Or do you think it's actually a good movie and you actually enjoy it? And if you do, that's actually good for you. I'm glad you found a movie that you enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Next movie review will hopefully be about Aquaman. If you want to watch the entire DCEU reviews I've done, make sure to click the playlist over here and enjoy.